The weekend after the Iron Bowl, I went to Auburn, Alabama, because I live 30 miles away,
Sure.
and I poisoned the 2 tumors trees. I put Spike 80 DF in them.
Did they die?
Do what?
Did they die?
They're not dead yet, but they
will be?
They definitely will die.
Is that against the law to poison a tree?
Well, do you think I care?
No.
Okay, I really don't. Hey, and you can tell Tammy, I hope, never mind.
Okay.
Roll down Tide.
Okay, one thing I don't know, because I was just getting back in town. We played the shortened version of the call. Is that correct? We have not played the long version. If you have not heard the long version of this call, we are going to play that in a minute. You need to hear it because it's very interesting. Right now, we're going to try to get a little bit of analysis on. I realize there are a lot of other things going on, but this is a breaking story, and it's a big story around the country. Dr. Scott McElroy is with us. He is He's a turf grass management specialist. He is connected to the Auburn campus, and he's an associate professor in the Department of Agronomy. And Doctor, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on this afternoon.
Glad to be with you, Paul.
What you obviously know a lot about this story and have been talking about it. What do you make out of it?
It's evil. It's malicious. I don't know what else to say other than that. And I mean, this is something the people here at Auburn have taken seriously ever since the person called in to your show, and it's something that we recognize the specificity of the comments that were made, and kudos go out to people here who really took it seriously from the very beginning and have made every effort to find out, to verify whether it was true, and up to this point have done everything they possibly can in order to save the trees. So,
how quickly did you realize something that it was true?
Well, really, it was over the past few days. Really, it's come to light of the truth of this matter, and really, it was later last week when we finally got the soil test back to confirm. But it took us really that long to verify, and those who were involved to verify it in order to take the soil test to come back with a positive result. So it took us a while. It was not immediately that we could detect what was going on. I mean, it took several weeks to do the test.
And how did it? Because I realize I've heard that trees don't just keel over and die the first day. How did you finally determine it, and what's happening now with that tree?
Well, with any type of diagnostic test, I mean, with a poisoning and anything, it's going to be just like a doctor does. We're going to go through a series of tests, and the first thing I did was actually look at the leaves to make sure they were photosynthesizing, and they were at the time. So what's happened is that the trees have not taken up enough of the herbicide yet in order to see activity. That really only happens in the spring, and so the long-term testing that was done by Charlie Crawford, who's head of the of management here of all the grounds here at Auburn University, they took soil samples. And in these soil samples, that's where they detected the parent compound, which is tebuthyuron, contained within spike. So that's how they finally came to the conclusion. And from what I've seen, it's a mega dose of it. It's not just this is above and beyond what you would need to kill a tree. This is what. Yeah.
What other threats or damage could be done other than the loss of a tree?
The threat to, first of all, the threat to humans, the threat to people, the threat to wildlife is none at all to minimal. And the biggest threat is, has any of this moved off target in any of the plant species around in the Sanford Park area of the university? Has anything really moved off target there? And they're currently testing for that as well. They've actually done some grid sampling and some other soil sampling to try to figure out, is there been other movement around in that park area?
And worst case scenario, what could happen?
Worst case scenario, it's going to kill the trees, and we're going to have to excavate a very large quantity of the soil, not just the soil around the trees, but all of the soil in that entire corner may have to be excavated before anything could be replanted, because if any residual amounts are left there and other new trees are planted, it could kill those as well. So this is something that is going to take a large, if it does kill the trees and they have to replace those, it's going to be a massive excavation, I'm afraid.
Now, I realize a lot of people are snickering, but this is your business. This is what you do.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about why it is so serious and why people shouldn't find humor in what we're talking about here.
If anybody doubts that this is not a humorous situation, go look up the treaty oak. The treaty oak was a part of the Council of Oaks in Austin, Texas. And several years ago, a man went and poisoned one of the, and it's the same. They were live oaks. He went and poisoned the treaty oak with hexazinone, which is Velpar, and Ross Perot donated enormous amounts of money in order to try to save this magnificent live oak. And the guy who did it, bragged about it, and they eventually caught him. He got 9 years in prison. 9 years in prison. And you think he didn't kill anybody, he just poisoned a tree, but that's how serious this situation is. Somebody has done something just evil and just detrimental to the entire Auburn community, and to the use of pesticides as well, which used correctly are very safe to the environment and very safe to humans, and are a necessary part of what we need in order to produce food and do other things. And somebody has just used it very maliciously and definitely against the law.
How will this be viewed in the world that you travel in, and with other academics and people who specialize in this particular field? Well,
we're definitely going to try to really continue to preach the need for pesticides and what benefit they do have. It definitely does show you that these things are dangerous, and they definitely do have the potential to do harm to people. And this is not the first time somebody's misused this herbicide. It's people have went off label all the time and tried to poison other people's trees that they thought were in their way or something like that. And it's something we're just going to have to continue to defend, that these are useful, but in this situation it was just evil.
Many thanks. I appreciate it, Scott.
Not a problem.
Al is in Dadeville, Alabama. Hey, Al.
Hey, Paul. How you doing?
Well, thanks.
When Bear Bryant died, I was living in Texas, and I really didn't understand the Alabama-Auburn rivalry. But a good friend of mine that lived in Birmingham sent me a copy of the newspaper showing the Auburn students rolling Toomer's Corner celebrating Bryant's death.
Now stop. I even though I know what you just got through saying, and even though I know you're quoting from a newspaper, I just have the most difficult time ever believing that Auburn students rolled Toomer's Corner when the news broke that Coach Bryant died. Does anyone else remember that? I don't.
Do you want me to send you a copy of the? I still have a newspaper clipping.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of awkward here because I'm not doubting your truthfulness. I'm just, are you guys in the other room in as much shock as I am? That is just one of the most shocking things I've ever heard. I do not want to believe that is true.
Okay, let me finish my story.
Okay.
This year I was at the Iron Bowl.
There's no way that could be true.
Well, okay. This year I was at the Iron Bowl.
Okay.
And I saw where they put a Scam Newton jersey on Bear Bryant's statue.
Okay, I mean, again, that's 28 years later.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what I did. The weekend after the Iron Bowl, I went to Auburn, Alabama, because I lived 30 miles away,
Sure.
and I poisoned the two Toomer's trees.
Okay, well, that's fair.
I put Spike 80 DF in them.
Did they die?
Do what?
Did they die?
They're not dead yet, but they
will.
They definitely will die.
Is that against the law to poison a tree?
Well, do you think I care?
No.
Okay, I really don't.
Okay.
Roll down Tide.